these are some of my paintings, my splashes, as I prefer to call them. And it is splash. I'm not pretending it to be art, but it has a certain philosophy to it because the splash painting is an old technique that has existed, well, probably forever. But it was especially used by uh, a group of Buddhist monks 3 or 4 or 5 thousand years ago, whatever it was, who were not allowed to express themselves in pictures, and therefore they started splashing instead. For me, splashing is incredibly important because it somehow it creates images that comes from the subconsciousness, as I normally say, and I truly believe that it is a way of expressing oneself in very uh, different ways. It gives you somehow uh, an understanding of who you are. It might sound strange, but the way you splash is you can do it very aggressively, or you can do it very softly or gentle, and you can obviously continue to work on the paintings as I do in various ways. Here I'm trying to sort of see if I can combine some of my plastic stuff with this is pure earth that I've made. The painting I made myself, and other natural colors. This is entirely natural. This is a completely biodegradable painting. And by the way, that's another thing I'm working on. If you see these two paintings here, this painting here is made on organic lin, and the colors are completely natural from Denmark, organic colors. And this painting here is made on a canvas, a recycled canvas, and the colors are partly synthetic. It's gouache and chalk and various other colors, but it's a painting that's done on recycled materials. Now, that cannot be composted, but that one can be composted. And actually, this is also supposed to become, or could become, a coffin cover, for example. I think it could be quite beautiful to start utilizing, or to create, just renew the funeral, for example. And I think it's insane that we are putting people into big plastic or whatever metal coffins when we could actually just put them into very simple, beautiful cotton or linen or something like that. Anyway, there are some pragmatic issues to that. That's my friend, the undertaker, would disagree with me about. But anyway, here is my office, and here's another huge splash painting which I personally like a lot. Here in my rather messy office is also one of the creations that I really like a lot. It's it's this lamp here. It's the lamp which is made from well, only from bottles. It's reused bottles. They've been changed by using fire, by using a flame. And actually, this whole thing can be recycled and turned into new plastic bottles, new PET bottles, and that's the point with this exercise. It glows beautifully at night. You'll see some of the images. Now, here are some more paintings. Here are lamps made from recycled plastic in India, and there's lots and lots of other things. This is a real sort of radical sustainable innovation project. It's called Deep Living. And it's a project that was shown at a competition in Japan or wherever it was, and it won some prizes. The project is about how we can live together in new and different ways. As you can see, it's quite an old project because the computer graphics are quite simple. This is about self-efficiency. It's about being capable of still living together when you divorce, because I believe that if we designed our houses differently, it actually could be possible to have a sort of family kind of collective or something like that. So therefore, I proposed this as a project. And if anybody is interested in the project, you can see the slides here afterwards. I'll put up the slides. And it's a project which I personally am quite sort of fascinated by, because I really see some enormous potentials in us as architects and designers helping with coming up with entirely new solutions. And in this case, it's basically about saying, Mom and Dad could, well, living like this, at some point maybe living like this, sharing the kids, you could say, or the kids sharing the parents. So here is a parent department and a parent department, and here is a kitchen, and here is a kid, and here is a toilet. And this is the way you possibly could live together. This is the way you could also live together. But it's a long talk, and I won't do it now. But this is another, I don't know if you should call it radical sustainable innovation project, but this is a giant vase, you could say. It's 2 to 3 meters tall, and basically what you see is that it's a water recycler or reuse or whatever you want to call it. You pump water up into the top. It sort of flows over a curvy surface where it gets oxygenated. It goes into various small ponds with various kinds of plants, and at the end it's rinsed. Now, this is a way to integrate water rinsing into architectural project. And actually, this thing standing here and a lot of the other things that I have in my house here, for example, this one here, are all parts of the experimentation that I did in India, but that never really got any further, unfortunately. So if anybody wants to do a water pillar, I forgot what I call the project. The water recycling, blah blah blah. But it's got loudspeaker with music for the plants and for the water, because supposedly that's good for it. That's something I learned in India. Yeah. Now, this is a shirt. It's called Once in a Lifetime shirt, and the idea is to recycle a shirt. These are actually old advertising T-shirts. You can see there's something up there. But the idea here is to try and say, well, why not use these shirts again, because they've got advertising on them. I painted over it. It's a very simple idea, but this could be a quite nice. For example, you could use it for. I've been using them for sort of special parties where I would like to. That's why I call them once in a lifetime T-shirt or shirts. So it's a way of looking into using our old materials in new and different ways. And this, unfortunately, these specific shirts are what are they called? Synthetic. So. They can't really be recycled, and it's one of these issues, where you're standing with a material that can't really be recycled, and yet it can, and but it's all very complicated because there's all these mixtures and all this stuff, and where things should be clean and straight. Yeah, complicated matters, but nevertheless, challenges.